In this video, I am doing a shortened review of the Epilogue of Hammurabi's Law Code in Akkadian. I want to begin with an introduction and then go from there to look at starting to look at the grammar. In 1966, the German Assyriologist Raquel Borger wrote a landmark work entitled Babylonisch-Assyrische Lehrstück, which is still in use today. Some of the transliteration is based upon his work, whereas the text normalization, in which the transliteration is modified to make it consistent, and the Akkadian grammar study are my own work. It is my desire to present here a grammar so students may have a better understanding of the construction of the Akkadian language. The question has been asked, well, why study Akkadian? The quickest answer is that we study the language, customs, and history of Near and Middle Eastern civilizations to give us a better understanding of the world in which the ancient Hebrew culture arose. A longer answer involves many things. We can witness the rudiments of the Hebrew language as it emerges. We can find events echoed in other cultural histories which give credence and support to the history of the Old Testament. We can find parallels in the ancient world that are still part of life today, like ego, pride, power struggles, politics, religious syncretism, and even issues of parenting. A study of Akkadian and other ancient languages, then, is critical if we are to know the intellect of the ancients, their thoughts and feelings, their struggles, their fears, and their wisdom. A dead language is not truly dead. It records a culture and a way of thinking that helps us, that gives us a glimpse into ancient history. For us to most fully, I believe, understand the Hebrew Bible, the context of the world of the Old Testament, and the socio-economic and political environment of the nations of the Fertile Crescent, and the study of Akkadian become, I believe, an indispensable tool in understanding the Hebrew Bible. So I want to begin with this introduction and start reading in the Epilogue of Hammurabi. I am going to do an interlinear translation. I'm not going to try a smooth translation, but I want to do an interlinear translation. That way, it'll be easier to follow. So let me begin with the transliteration and my own normalization and translation. So we begin in chapter 47, line 1. Dina'at mishari'im Shah ha'amurapi. So if we put that in a normalization, that transliteration, Dinat misharim Shah Hammurabi. That would be the laws of justice which Hammurabi Shah. Let me just do a couple words at a time. The laws of justice which Hammurabi. Dinum is vocabulary here. Misharum means justice. Shah is the relative pronoun, and Hammurabi is the king who is writing this. So as we look at the grammar for just a moment, Notice dinat is a noun. It's a feminine plural from dinum. Note the ot ending indicates a feminine plural ending. It's very parallel to the feminine plural ot ending in Hebrew. So the noun means law, and it is related, I believe, to the Hebrew din, which means law, daled hirik yod nun, meaning judgment, can we say. So the next phrase of Hammurabi reads Misharim, and we would transliterate that Misharim. Misharim is the genitive singular noun ending in im, im. In Akkadian, the case endings are is your nominative singular. So it would be, if we would have misharum, it would be nominative. Im is genitive, so it's the laws of justice. And then is accusative singular. So if we wanted to say he wrote the law, it would be It would be the law of justice. He wrote the law. It would be dinam. Going further, u, a long u with a macron accent, is the nominative plural ending. And the I with a long accent is the genitive and accusative plural ending. So the noun misharum means justice, and it is related to the cognate Hebrew word, I believe, meshar, which means in Hebrew justice or equity. So Hammurabi is beginning his code by telling the reader that his laws are just laws, the laws of justice. Then we move on, Shah Hammurabi. So looking at the at the transliteration, it would be Ha Hammurabi becoming Hammurabi, Shah Hammurabi. Shah is the relative pronoun in Akkadian, which, and as we think about the Hebrew, in Mishnaic Hebrew, we have Sheh, whereas the biblical Hebrew is Asher, and it means which. Hammurabi is the proper name referring to the king that's making these law codes. So notice the laws of justice, which Hammurabi Sharu'um Le'um. Sharum means king. Le'um means competent. So Sharu'um transnormalized would be Sharum, and Le'um normalized would be competent. Literally, which the king competent. In other words, he's claiming to be a competent king. And then we come to the verb. In other words, both endings in sharum and leum are showing nominative singular. And then finally, the verb to finish this sentence, the laws of justice which the king competent, uki inuma, which he set up. Notice uki inuma transnormalizations becomes ukinuma, meaning to set up or establish. When we look at this word, it's a verb. It's what we call a D preterite, meaning D past. And D, it's a D subjunctive, third masculine singular from the middle weak verb kanu, to establish or set up. In Akkadian, the D conjugation corresponds to the Hebrew PL, which shows intensification. And the U suffix indicates a subjunctive which follows the relative sha. Just the one word here, Akkadian subordinate clauses are with that kind of a construction. It does not express a probability or a wish, as in Greek or Latin, but it is simply used, the u, as a subjunctive in an Akkadian subordinate clause. So I'm going to stop there. I'm holding these short to 10 minutes, sort of like a little dose of Akkadian. The laws of justice, which Hammurabi, the capable king, set up, and D preterite, third masculine singular, from kanu, related to kun in Hebrew, middle weak verb.